President William Ruto still in the lead to become president, but with a much reduced approval rating of even below 30%, followed now in recent weeks by Edwin Sifuna, who's edged big names like Kalonzo Musyoka and Fred Matiang'i, and he now follows President William Ruto in as far as approval ratings are concerned. But is that the main concern that we have right now? That it's one term, two term. Do you think we will sustain that debate of one term, two term? And let me start with the Wakili Kibe Mungai, one term, two term to the end up till election day. Do you think that will be, or do we have a possibility of changing the discussion? Remember, there's still the national dialogue that the president called for, still this week in 2 days' time, to discuss about Vision 2060. Do you think that could change the wind or the narrative?
Okay, first of all, let me say that to say the Kenya to have a long-term economic planning is a good thing, very good thing in itself. But there are two issues which have been picked by very many people. That issue is one, under what circumstances do you carry this discussion? We've already, over the last 1 year, been having high-octane politics already in Kenya. Now, in an election year, to say the leader of one of the coalition, of the two-term, to come and say, we are thinking about the long-term issue in Kenya, the natural question that begs are two. Number one, on what basis would you, with a mandate to, and a manifesto to implement, be refocusing Kenyans on the future of generations that have not voted for you, when the serious majority, going by opinion polls, is already saying, for purposes of the actual work you are supposed to do, you are not doing it. Mm-hmm. There is also the second issue of timing. Like this discussion, assuming you are in the position of President William Ruto, and you are a two-term, you can also be able to say, to depoliticize this issue is not really to tell people that let us not have a political debate. It is actually to say that as a matter of principle, one of the things, because the time for Vision 2030 is not yet over, I'll focus for Vision 2030, but because we cannot wait until 2030 to carry out a discussion for what comes after it, if I'm re-elected, or whoever gets re-elected, the first duty ought to be to decide how Kenya after 2030 should move forward. Mm-hmm. That would depoliticize everything. But as of now, you see many commentators saying, and they are right to a very good extent, that it is of course another scheme now that, sorry to use the words, now that a lot of promises and lies associated with the current things can no longer be able to get traction, then package lies that I am still your best hope for a future for citizens who are yet to be born. And that is why we say, who even at personal level, you are tested for what you do with your children, not for what you promise to do for your grandchildren. Therefore, there is the question of bona fides. You are the good faith, that you are probably not doing it in good faith. And number two is, of course, the concern that who leads in ensuring that you bring down the political temperature? Leaders of opposition and any other person who is seeking power can afford to every day be able to engage in political events, because there is nothing else that you are doing, and your work is to critique what is going on. The tragedy for Kenya appears to be when everybody, including the president, is on the suntop is on the rooftop of motor vehicle, going on to campaign every day. Because the question now then becomes, at what stage are you doing your job? Because the other people may say on a day-to-day basis, they don't report to any office. So if I don't go to the office, my small office as a lawyer, it registers some loss, because Kibe didn't report to work. The same case would apply to the presidency, if you ask me. And that's why I say, and the standard that Kibaki set, Kibaki would sit back in 2 terms. He would sit back in engaging in politics until 6 months. In fact, the last 3 months is when he would be very active with politics. But now you are having a situation whereby for 2 straight years, he's been campaigning over and over. We're having delegations, which are clearly political delegations, coming to State House like almost every other day. So that even in Kenya, in fact, that's my last point on this, in Kenya, as we move forward to the next elections, I keep saying, I was saying it over the weekend when I was reanalyzing the issue, that the biggest tragedy for Kenya as we go for 2027 may not even be that President William Ruto was very corrupt or anything. The issue, if you ask me, may actually be that for 5 years, William Ruto did work that constitutionally, when you look at it, belongs to the governor. Markets, small things, but the big job of the presidency, nobody did it. So that when you look at even what the governor of Central Bank, the minister, when he was talking the other day, are situations in which the CEO was more interested in procurement work, the work of a general manager, and the work of everybody else, except the actual work of a CEO, which nobody could do. That may ultimately be the greatest issue about any tragedy that may be suffered from the Ruto presidency, if you ask me.
In the lead up to the 2022 elections, there was a lot of hustler, this Mama Mboga, bottom up.